This story time is from a follower, and she says she wants advice and would like to be called Milan. Also, please no one judge her. So Milan has been with her boyfriend Damien for 2 months. They started talking 2 weeks before making their relationship official. She said it was pretty fast, but the past week, she hadn't been feeling Damien and started to notice how toxic he was. And she didn't know if she wanted to be with him anymore. So she decided to call it quits before they got too deep. So she told him she didn't want to be with him and that they jumped into the relationship too soon. And they split. Damien was upset and disrespected her in the process of the breakup, and now they're not cool anymore. Couple days later, she started feeling weird. She'd get nauseous and dizzy. Come to find out she was pregnant and Damien was the child's father. She knew this because she took a pregnancy test. So right now, she doesn't want to be with Damien, and she said she wasn't ready for a child or to be a single mother. She said she wanted to get an abortion and was not going to tell Damien. Comment down below some advice. Here's another toxic best friend story time. Growing up, me and Emily were close. In our neighborhood, I was friends with everyone and she was just friends with me. Reason being because she said she didn't like people. And literally for no reason. But when I got into high school is when I started to drift away. I started making new friends I loved hanging out with. And I believe she started to notice because she'd always randomly say things. How come we don't hang out as much? And I just ignored her. And hanging around her, I was just always on my toes and she gave me anxiety. Whenever she wanted to hang out, I noticed myself lying to her about what I was doing because if I was just relaxing at home, she'd be like, so you're not gonna come see your best friend? That's fake. And she made me feel guilty about having my time or hanging around other people. One day, when I was in school, I posted something on my Instasnap and I looked at who watched it and I saw a page that had my profile picture. And I clicked on the page. And the page had all types of pictures of me saying how much I hate myself, how much I wanted to kill myself, and me. So when I clicked on the page that had my profile picture, it had all types of crazy posts about how much I hated myself. There were also posts of my friends from school and mean things being said about them also. I immediately tried and get the page reported, but it was still up for a couple days. I showed my friends just in case they found the page and thought it was me. I also told my mom, but the page continued to be up. Maybe a week later, I forget about it and the posts on the page start to dwindle down. After a couple weeks, I go hang out with my friend Emily because I haven't seen her in a while. I went to her house and we just took pictures and we used her phone because she had a newer phone. When I started taking pictures of her, a notification on Instagram pops up and I accidentally clicked on it. And remember how I talked about how someone made a fake page of me? She was the one logged into the account. Okay, so I know everyone has been waiting on my part 4 about the story time with my friend Gianna and how her boyfriend Chris got lost. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch some parts now so you can understand what I'm about to talk about right now. So after the whole shooting went down and everything, we lost Chris in the midst of everyone. We ended up kind of lost ourselves because we really didn't know. Like, we were in different parts of town. We didn't know, like, I ain't know nobody. Like, I didn't know where I was at. But his cousin, it was his actual cousin, came to us saying that he knew where he was at because we was like sort of yelling for his name, looking for him. He knew where he was at because Chris, I don't know if his phone died, but he was not answering his phone. I'm sorry, I'm like forgetting stuff. Okay, so we went to his house. He was in his basement, but he had a little cousin in there who his leg was shot, and they was debating if they wanted. It was the second week of school, and I was on a bus on my way home, and my guy best friend always sat next to me. His cousin sat across from us and was always trying to get me and my best friend to date, but we'd always refuse. So one day, my best friend cousin texted me and said, "Why don't you want to date my cousin? Is there something wrong with him?" I said, "No, there's nothing wrong. I just don't want to date my best friend. It's weird." As we're talking, I told him the reason I didn't want to date my cousin was because that I liked him. And he actually said that he liked me back, so we began dating, and 4 months later, we decided to give each other our passwords to our Instagrams. But I guess he forgot, because 6 months later, he started texting another girl, and he told her that he loved her and wanted to be with her, and that he'll break up with me soon. I'm going to tell y'all straight to my why I quit working at McDonald's after 2 weeks, and so much happened in those 2 weeks. Like, it's crazy. I might have to do multiple parts. Hopefully, I don't get sued, and hopefully, you guys like this one. Okay, so the first day I worked there, they literally had me clean everything, and I'm talking about old oil stains on the corner of the floors to cleaning the freaking walls and freezers, which I was in there for 30 minutes, not to mention, and that was not my job title. I was not a freaking janitor. I was a cashier. But come to find out, they only had me cleaning up all that mess because inspection was coming in the next day. And then the older employees proceeded to laugh. One newer employee said she never had to do that. By the way, she came a week before me. They only hired me to clean up all that stuff. I was irritated because no other employee had to do that but me. They wasted my time cleaning freezers and gook off the floor when they could have been training me on the freaking register. I did that for 2 days, but on the third day, there was a big fight. I gotta make it part 2. So if you watched part 1 already, you already know what they had me doing, the wrong job title purposely, and I did that for 2 days. On the third day, they finally started to train me on the register, but not really. I wasn't properly trained. That day, it was pretty hectic. I was slow and very confused on the register, and one of the managers asked me how many days I've been there. I said 3, and she asked, "Why are you working so slow on the register?" In my head, I thought that she was saying I was a slow worker, in which in reality, now that I think of it, I'm only slow because this is truly my first day because they had me doing other stuff the other first 2 days. Right before my lunch break, this lady with a knife walks into McDonald's, pointing it at me, asking for one of the managers, claiming she slept with my man. Me, I'm like shook. I don't know which manager she's talking about. I'm pretty new, so I backed up all confused, and she come around towards me. Okay, so this is part 3 of why I stopped working at McDonald's after 2 weeks. So on my third day of working there, I told you guys about the lady that came in with the knife, pointing it at me, looking for the manager that slept with her man. When she came around the corner, the same lady that told me that I was working slow was the same lady she was looking for. Now, she had ran to the back, was trying to hide behind the back door, and some of the employees were trying to stop her, but they wasn't trying to get too close because she had a weapon. The lady is literally waiting on the manager and would not go anywhere till she came back. So one of the employees called the police, and they came to get the lady out. When they finally got her out of the building, some of the managers asked, why didn't I stop her? Like, sis, what you want me to do? I wasn't trying to get cut. When I got home, that same manager called later that day and said that my drawer was missing $42 and my first paycheck was $23. I was working there for 3 days, working 8-hour shifts overtime. And that's a whole nother story on why my paycheck is so low. So this is by far the most scariest Halloween experience that I've ever had. I had went out to a Halloween party with one of my friends. Well, 2 of my friends. We're going to call one Jessica and we're going to call the other one Amina. So Jessica, me and her, we were closer. And Amina, I didn't really know her. I knew her through Jessica because they were friends. So we went out. And at the time, we were 8th graders, okay? We went out and we went to a high school Halloween party, and to us that's like, ooh, high schoolers, you know. So we went out to go check the party. It cost $2 to get in. It was like a $2 party. We got in, there was candy everywhere, and us being the young bulls we were, we was the ones snatching up the candy. When it was time to go, we all left together. On our way home, it was this man following us. So Jessica was the first one to notice that this man was following us. But she told us not to turn around because she didn't want him to notice that we knew that he was behind us. And she just told us to walk faster. And as we walked faster, he got faster. Even after we came from the party, we still went trick-or-treating. He was just still following us. And so my friend Jessica, she picked up a rock. And this man was following us for like a good 3 minutes. You know, he was making the same turns as us. It was getting suspicious. So my friend Jessica, she threw a rock at him. And when she threw a rock at him, he started to chase us. Like, he literally ran after us. And when I tell you we ran for our lives, we ran for our lives. So we got to Jessica's house. And from there on, I don't know how, but we ended up losing a man. Luckily, but that was just a weird experience. This is why Halloween shouldn't be a thing. We got kids walking around in the middle of the night. Mind you, we was out there till 10 p.m. Why is y'all still giving us candy at 10 p.m.? That's another thing. Stop celebrating Halloween. Get some candy from the corner store. Around this time in October, a couple years ago when I was in 7th grade, I went to a friend's house for a slumber party, and we're calling her Charlotte. It was Charlotte's birthday party, and she had a big sleepover with 10 other girls. I knew 6 of them because they were friends and they lived in our neighborhood. The other 4 were her cousins and a friend from school. She had ice cream and cake, we danced, prank called, the regular preteen sleepover. Later that night, we watched a scary movie, and after it was over, one of Charlotte's friends from school said, "We should play the Ouija board." By the way, we're calling her Sam. I wasn't really into it because my mom always told me to stay away from those things. Charlotte wanted to play too, and she said, "How are we going to play without the board?" Sam said, "We can make one. All we need is cardboard." Somehow they found cardboard in the kitchen, and Sam made the board and a triangle piece with a hole in it. I was like, that's not going to work. When Sam and Charlotte played, the piece moved across the board. When the piece moved, everyone screamed, and Charlotte's dad came in the room asking what the problem was. Charlotte immediately scooted the board under the bed and said, "I thought I saw a bug, but it was just a hairball." And her dad seemed a little irritated, but he just walked out the room. When he left, Sam pulled the board back from under the bed, saying that the game needed to be finished, but Charlotte said she still wanted to ask questions. So everyone each got to ask a question, and the board answered it. They even asked questions of today, and at the time, our president was Obama, and it knew who the president was. When it was Sam's turn, she asked jokingly, since the board knew everything, she asked when we were going to die, and it said, "Tonight." And from there on, everyone stopped playing. Charlotte got scared and didn't even want to touch the board anymore. Sam constantly said that we all have to say goodbye, but everyone wanted to stay away, and usually when you don't say goodbye, the spirits that you talk through the board continue to roam around your home.
I would say trust the process, but this finna come out ugly. This finna come out a hot mess. Yeah, nah. This is not a process you should be trusting. And you're like still here for what? Why are you still here? Girl, if you don't scroll and go do something else, what is you still here for? Like seriously, we look crazy.